Welcome back to my YouTube channel, it's Saroj Meera Singh, and today I am here with another video tutorial on the topic of malaria. In this video tutorial, I am going to cover introduction of malaria, history, plasmodium, general characters of plasmodium and other details about plasmodium, transmission of malaria, prevention of malaria, symptoms, diagnosis, treatment of malaria, geographical distribution of malaria, malaria at worldwide, conclusion and references. So let's start with the terminology. Malaria is a Latin term made up of two words. The first one is mal, which means bed, and the another one is area, which means air. So in terminologically it means bed air. Malaria is a mosquito-borne infectious disease caused by intracellular protozoan parasite Plasmodium. It is infected through female Anopheles mosquito. Over 60 types of Anopheles species are capable to cause malaria. Generally occurred in vertebrates, especially in humans. It is mainly a disease of tropical and subtropical areas. Delay in diagnosis and treatment is a leading cause of death in patients of malaria. Now come to the next slide, history of malaria. In 1880, Alfonso, a French army doctor, described the malarial parasite first and proposed that it can able to cause malaria, and then Ronald Ross described the complete life cycle of malarial parasite, and for this he won Nobel Prize in the year of 1902. Now come to the next slide, general characters of Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a genus of parasitic protozoan. Protozoa are the first animal. They are unicellular, non-photosynthetic eukaryotic organism. Protozoa are biologically diverse group of unicellular eukaryotic organisms. They are generally parasitic in nature. Plasmodium is a unicellular organism. It is an endoparasitic and live in the inside of host cell. Parasites are of two types. First one is endoparasitic and the another one is exoparasites or exoparasitic. Endo that lives inside the host body, exo that lives out of the host body. Plasmodium completes its life cycle in two hosts, namely humans, and the another one is female Anopheles mosquito. Man is the intermediate host and Anopheles are primary host of this parasite. Now come to the next slide, some common species of Plasmodium. There were many Plasmodium species present in nature which are able to cause malaria. But in humans, only 4 Plasmodium species are responsible to cause malaria. That are as follow: Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium falciparum, Plasmodium ovale, Plasmodium malariae. And now come to the next slide of malaria, that is life cycle of malaria. Plasmodium completes its life cycle in following 3 steps. The first one is infection, the another one is asexual reproduction, and the third one is sexual reproduction. So let's start with the point 1, infection through mosquito or infection through female Anopheles. You can see this in the image. In infection, in this phase, an infected female Anopheles mosquito bites a person and injects sporozoites in host body through salivary glands with her saliva. You can see this in this image, and then within 30 to 60 minutes after inoculation of sporozoites, sporozoites find their way by blood circulation and it travels to liver from blood. You can see this in point number 2 in the image. Now come to the next point, that is asexual reproduction. The next stage of Plasmodium life cycle after the infection through mosquito, it takes place in the liver. Asexual reproduction completes into following steps. Firstly, sporozoites enter the liver cell and start multiplying or dividing and become merozoites. After few days, merozoites are released into the bloodstream from liver cell by cell rupturing. And then when merozoites enters in red blood cells, it became trophozoites. After growth of trophozoites in RBCS, the parasite differentiated into male and female gametocyte. And after that, the third stage, the stage of sexual reproduction takes place. In this stage, when female Anopheles mosquito bites a person, it takes these gametocytes through her blood meal. In female Anopheles mosquito, these gametocytes becomes mature and form gametes. This process is known as gametogenesis. You can see this here. In the midgut of mosquito, male and female gametes are fused together and form zygote. After maturation of zygote, it becomes ookinetes, and after some time it converts into oocytes. You can see this in the image, the conversion from ookinete to the conversion of oocyte. It is the end of sexual stage, and after it the cycle starts over again. And now come to the next slide, transmission of malaria. Malaria disease is transmitted by two ways. The first one is direct transmission and the another one is indirect transmission. In direct transmission, plasmodiums are transmitted by direct biting of female Anopheles mosquito. And in indirect transmission, plasmodiums are transmitted by following ways, such as by blood transfusion, by organ transplantation, by infected needles, by mother to fetus. As we all know that the prevention is better than cure. So here we are in our next slide with the preventions. Malaria is spread through female Anopheles mosquito. So preventing mosquito bites is the best treatment for malaria. There were many household appliances are present in market to prevent mosquito bites, such as All Out, Good Night, Odomos cream, and many other sprays and coils or liquid machines. Using bed nets before sleep can also prevent malaria. And then advice to seek medical care if malaria-like symptoms occur. Now come to the next slide, symptoms. Symptoms of malaria usually begins 10 to 15 days after being bitten. Malaria has flu-like symptoms that typically include following symptoms such as headache, fever, body pain, dry cough, vomiting, etc. Now come to the next slide, diagnosis. Malaria disease is diagnosed by following methods, such as by making blood films, antigen-based rapid diagnostic test, and by using polymerase chain reaction to detect parasitic DNA. Now come to the next slide, treatment of malaria. Treatment of malaria is possible, and the treatment of malaria is directly related to the type of malaria, and the type of malaria is directly related to the type of plasmodium species which is responsible to cause that particular type of malaria. There were many medicines and drugs are available in market to treat malaria disease, such as chloroquine. Chloroquine is used to treat uncomplicated Plasmodium falciparum chloroquine sensitive malaria, and other examples are mentioned in the image. You can see this in the slide. Now come to the geographical distribution of malaria. You can see this in the image. Here blue color is used to represent distribution of malaria at high level, where malaria is one of the major cause of death. Now come to the next slide, malaria at worldwide. 41% of world population lives in the area where malaria is transmitted. There were 300 to 500 million cases of malaria reported each year. In high transmission areas, over 2.7 million people die from malaria every year, and about 2,700 deaths per day and 2 deaths per minute are reported in these areas. In India, about 1.5 million cases and about 10,000 malarial deaths are reported annually. You can see all these things in the image for more clearance. Now come to the next slides, points to remember. So here some points regarding this topic are as follow. Malaria is an infectious disease and Plasmodium parasite are generally responsible for it. In severe cases, it can cause yellow fever, coma and death. It's a fourth leading cause of death. So it's my reference for further topic. So thank you so much for watching the full video. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe the channel for more video updates. Thank you.